Today, fellas, we're gonna loop the music. That's right, loop the music. Yeah, this is Soothing World Editor. We're gonna get soothed with the World Editor. But we got a problem today. I got Warcraft 3 and it's empty. I had to reinstall it. So I ran public Warcraft setup right here, this guy. And I'm gonna agree. Oh, now it's gonna install in C:. I thought I already installed it. I don't know, we don't want to do that. So, and then I figured out, it took me a long time to figure out, what it actually did is it installed on my flash drive. Well, which I unplugged. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, we're gonna Soothing World Editor today. That's what this is. Soothing World Editor. Well, alright, while this goes and does its thing, which looks like it's going to take a long time because of, I had to reinstall, because in the previous Soothing World Editor video, I used Hiveway, the Hive Workshop World Editor, which uses Task View, which is the fan-made task viewing software. And when you use the fan-made task viewing software, it destroys your installation of the game, so you have to reinstall it. So in honor of TaskView destroying my installation of Warcraft today, we're going to do Soothing World Editor, where let's just code our own Warcraft. Honestly, we're just going to code our own Warcraft. So let me just do that. That's pretty chill. We're just going to run this Java editor thing. I'm just going to code my own Warcraft. That's what you do sometimes. We're going to call it Workspace Fun War 3. This is Fun War 3. This is the fun version. Because the other one just has to keep reinstalling itself all the time. It doesn't work. So I'm just going to write the code. We're just going to write the code, folks. I don't know. I don't care. I don't have any libraries. I don't have any code libraries. I don't really know. We're just going to call Warcraft 3. We're gonna make our own Warcraft right now. See, this is some days are good days, some days are bad days, and some days we just make our own Warcraft 3. What are we gonna call it? We're gonna call it net.battle.war3. You give yourself a package. This is how you do it, and this is gonna be game. This is the game, and then. Was my music on loop or not? I thought I set it to loop. Good. It's looping. Good, good, good. We gotta have looped music today. Alright. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna end the video. I was thinking about ending the video right here to find out if you could hear me over the music or not. Since I'm not sure, we're just gonna turn the music way down because I'm more important than the music. All my viewers, they always told me that. They said I'm more important than the music. So, you know, you do what you gotta do. I still get to listen to the music. So, it's the same volume for me, right? What we have here is we're just going to code our own Warcraft because we had to reinstall the real one a whole bunch of times because it doesn't work. So, what do we have here? This is the game. So the game needs a window. Game window. This is the window on the screen. So we're just going to make it do that. There you go. Yeah, that's our window frame thing. Let's make a game window. Oh no! Battle agent. Yes, okay. Game window equals new. That's how you know that I'm putting the real one. Window set visible true on the screen. So the game window, it's a window that is the game of Warcraft that we're coding right now. And you always got to set your default close operation to disposure on closure. They always do that. I don't know why they didn't do that by default. They're crazy. What else are you gonna do? Yeah, pretty much that's it. We'll call pack. We'll set location relative to null. That puts it in the center of the screen. But most importantly, we need game content. Let's give us some game content. Game content. Game content is a J panel. Great. That's the game content. We're gonna put the game content in the window. So set content, new game content, right? And we'll just put that right inside the window. That's awesome. Then the game content, we have to override how it renders itself. So for that, we're just gonna go in here and we're gonna set the color of the pen to the blue color, and then we're gonna draw text on the screen that says Zug Zug, because we're coding Warcraft, because we're the Soothing World editor, and we'll put it at 10 in from the side and 10 down from the top is our location of Zug Zug. So that's our game content. I'm gonna put that in the window, and now we should be able to just play the game, and it'll say Zug Zug. Maybe. Problem here is the game content needs a size. So let's set the preferred size to 800 by 600. Everybody loves 800 by 600. Actually, you know what? In honor of the song we're listening to, we're gonna do 640 by 480 because in the temple operating system, which is supposed to be able to talk to God, supposedly God once told them that 640 by 480 is a holy covenant. Now, as you can see, my window did not honor the 640 by 480. So, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to add box.create an area. We'll just create an area, and we'll give our area a 640 480 area, and then that'll be good. That way, we have our thing in an area box. A real box, like a real game. That still didn't work. Wow. Okay. Oh, here's why. I'm supposed to add it in the constructor of game content. Actually, yeah, that means set preferred size might even work. Set preferred size. I probably just should have done that to begin with. That's my bad. We all make mistakes, and this was mine. So let's try the set preferred size method first. Yeah, there we go. 640 by 480. That's all we need. We don't need box contents. Alright. So it's our preferred size of our game content here. It's Zug Zug. And the important thing is you have to have units, right? In the game of Warcraft, you have to have units. That's just simple. That's just simple Soothing World editor. I don't know what this is. Okay, we're gonna X out. If you get any notifications, just X them out. Alright, we need units. So for that, we need to make a peon. Okay, so this is a peon, and he's green, right? He's a green peon, and this is his leg, and this is his other leg, and this is his body, and this is his arm, and this is his head, and this is gonna be his little orc face, a little mouth on there. That's the peon. Now all you gotta do is save the peon into your user folder, in the source folder, in the repositories. Just, you know, something like make a new folder, units, or like sprites. This is the sprites folder. That's where we're gonna put the peon. Right here. I code a Warcraft. Code your own Warcraft every day. Trust me, you'll never regret it. Alright, this is gonna be hierarchical. So here I have peon. So, in order to do the peon, we need to have a unit. And you have a unit. So a unit, everybody knows, unit has X and Y. Right? Every unit has X and Y on the screen. It also has unit type. That's really important. Everybody knows every unit has a unit type. So this is going to be a unit type. We'll just make a new thing. That's the unit type. What's the unit type got? It's got a name. The name of the unit type. And it's got max HP. And it's got movement speed. Move speed. And he's also got an image called art. This is the art of the unit type. There you go. So yeah, let's make that, and we'll just generate the code here. Okay. Very important to have a code generator write all your code for you. And this is the unit. Let's do the same here. I'll just push go on generate, and we'll just push go on, what was it, Alt G. Alright, good. We'll do that. So now we have units, and we have, oh, I forgot, units need to have a unit type as well as a location on the screen. Unit type, awesome. And just generate the code of that. Alright, great. And unit has get unit type, right? That's important. I'm not using raw code IDs because I'm being a scrub. Deal with it. So now what we can do is we can go to the game content and we can put a peon in the world. So let's make a unit called peon. Unit peon equals new unit. But he needs a unit type, so let's give him a unit type called peon. And what do peons have? Don't they have like 320 hit points? I forget. I'm picking a number. I picked 320. 160 move speed, and he needs an image art. So for that, we're gonna have a static image, which means it only loads once. Image peon art equals image IO. We'll do static loading. We'll do static loading. Okay. Image IO read. We need an input stream, so try. Oh, actually, wait. We don't need an input stream. Just game content dot. Well, maybe we do. Try game content class get resource as stream. Maybe. Sprite slash peon. Thought that was legal code. Input stream equals that thing. That's what you gotta do. And then auto generate the code of that. And then we'll load that as the peon art, and that's the peon art, and he's going to be at location 1000, 1000, and that's the peon, guys. There you go. It has an unhandled exception. We'll handle this exception by rethrowing. Throwy. Okay. Well, I'm not allowed to do that because I need to wrap it in a runtime exception. That's how I passed the interview one time. He's like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "I'll pass it in a runtime exception." Who cares? All right. So. Oh, I guess that'll be public that I said I did that. You know, it's a good thing to know. I guess you should know that. All right, here's my peon. Now the important thing is the peon needs to be in the list of units. So you need to have a list of all units in the game. That's how you have a good game, right? I code my own Warcraft. Let's see. This is a list of units, and then what I can do is we'll take away zug zug. I'll say for unit in units, or draw the unit on the screen. So to do that, what you need to do, unit needs a collision size. Alright, unit type also is going to have double collision size. And that's going to also, well, this is the size we're going to draw them at. So actually, let's not care about collision size. Let's just call it scaling value. Boom, scaling value. Awesome. Scaling value. Let's give a function on units called render that renders the unit into the graphics. So we'll do that. Now, in order to render a unit, what you do... Oh. Well, actually, this is a unit type. Realistically, we want to be able to render a unit. So what we'll do is we'll do graphics.drawImage, and we'll draw a unit type to get art, the art of the unit type, right? That's the image. Unit type needs to get scaling value, though, so we can pull that out. So the unit's going to do that, and then what we're going to do is we need default unit scale, right? Everything in Warcraft is on a grid of 128 by 128. So we're going to do private static final default unit scale, which is a grid of 128 by 128. So we put that in the game. And we'll just take that and times scaling value, which needs to come from unit type get scaling value, and default unit type get scaling value. Cool. So we'll do that. Unfortunately, we need to put it at x and y, right? Now, there's another problem. It only takes integer numbers, so we gotta cast. Just cast away. Cast away. Wasn't that a song? Alright, let's just draw the unit art at the location. Now here's another thing. This should be pulled out so you only calculate it once. In fact, actually we do that for the whole thing. So this is going to be unit scale, unit pixel scale. So that's the unit pixel scale. Now here's the other thing. Units are centered, so we're going to subtract pixel scale over 2 from x and y, so that it's centered. The unit's xy coordinate is his center. That's the only logical way to do it. So now we have units. Now we can render them. This is great, and the peon needs a scaling value of 1.0 because he's default size. Now what we're going to do is unit.render to the graphics, which is called G in my autocorrect called the graphics. So that's good. That's that, and then we'll just repaint away just like that. That'll keep the units moving in case we click on them. So now what we want to do is add a mouse listener so we can click on units. We need to be able to select our peon and give them a command. So that's on the mouse click. So when you press the mouse down on your peon, we need to know if you do that. So let's go through all the units. And here's an interesting thing, right? I have this unit pixel scale. Let's compute that at the start and save it as a field, auto-generate. And now I can get the unit's pixel scale of the unit, which actually means this is misnamed because it's actually just going to be pixel scale. It's already inside the unit class, so we know it's unit pixel scale. So that's the pixel scale. So now I have the pixel scale, so I can unit render. Not render. I copied this code. We're going to get pixel scale, right? So this is the pixel scale of the unit, and we're just going to do a collision box for selecting units right now. In fact, let's do even better. Let's do a collision circle. So that's your pixel scale of the unit. So you can actually just say if the point of the mouse distance to the unit x, unit get x, unit get y is less than, and this is going to be an if check on the unit we're clicking on. If the distance to the unit is less than or equal to the pixel scale of the unit, then we're going to do so. But this is halved because the pixel scale is like the full scale of the full unit, right? And we're a circle that's diameter of that, but not radius of that. It's a radius of half that. We can also inline that, right? So we put that right there. So now I figured that out. Now I should be able to click on units. Clicking on units, that's great. That's just right like that. But then what I need to do is I need to know what unit's selected. So let's make, right now, it's simple, right? It's simple. We're starting out. We didn't code all Warcraft yet. We're going to make a unit called current selection, and that's just the unit you currently have selected. And that was going to start out defaulting to nobody, but now current selection will be the unit you clicked on if you do click on a unit. So here's, after we render a unit, we're going to say if unit equals current selection, then set the color of the pen to green, and draw an oval around the unit, right? So unit get x minus unit get pixel scale over 2, unit get y minus unit get pixel scale over 2, and then unit get pixel scale, unit get pixel. That's a lot of calls to get pixel scale, so let's put that in a variable. So now we have that. I'll draw an oval around the unit when I click on it, so you can tell that he's selected, right? This is pretty good. For that, actually, I think what we need then is multiple peons. So let's extract our unit type here to a constant, and this is going to be called peon. It's just a constant unit type called peon, which I guess needs to load after peon art because it needs a peon art. So you do that, which is a unit is a peon. Now here's the fun thing. Let's make a function called create unit, or private unit create unit, right? And it takes unit type int x and int y, so we can tell it where we create the unit at. Now to do that, what we're going to do is we're actually going to units.add the new unit that we create. So we're going to create that with the type given at the x and the y given. And what this is going to mean, when we need to, you might want to use that unit in a variable when you call create unit. So then we're going to return the new unit. So we do that, right? And what that means is when we start up the game, we're going to create some units. So let's create multiple units, right? We'll create a unit of type peon at 1,000 or 100, 100. We'll create another peon at 200, 200. God said 640 by 480, so we're not any bigger than that. So we have to remember not to go past 600, 400. All right, so we have 3 peons, 100, 200, 300. So they're going to be a line, right? They're going to be a line like here, here, here. So I got 3 peons, and I got the ability to select them. And when I select them, it's going to draw a green oval of who I have selected. Now this is if it's the left mouse, right? E.get button. What is it? If swing utilities is left mouse button E, right? So I can pick out if you left mouse, then we do that. There's also the case of what about else if swing utilities is right mouse button E. Then you can tell the peon to move with right click, right? That's a move command. So for that, here's the other thing we want to do. We want to have a game logic update. So when we update here, let's do an update. Now you got to start asking yourself, well, how are you going to do that kind of update of when you right click, he's got to walk there, you know? The peon's got to walk there, which means we need him like walking. I didn't bother to animate him, but that's okay. I probably won't bother to animate him. So yeah, we don't need an animated peon. We don't need that. A right click, he's gonna walk there, and he's gonna say zug zug. So first off, we're gonna print out in the command line zug zug, so people know if there's a random chance it'll say zug zug. The else case is to this is really not auto formatted. I work with auto format. If it's not zug zug, then he's gonna say I do it, and he's gonna go over there and do it, whatever you tell him. So now we have that. So we can let's test that much. Let's test that much. Let's run the game. So we got 3 peons, as you can see. I can click them and I'll select them with a green circle. And when I right click, he's like I do it. Zug zug, I do it. When I right click to tell him to go somewhere. So now we need to have him walk there, right? So in order to have him walk there, we're constantly redrawing the screen. So all we need to do is we need to just call unit.update on the unit. So we're gonna have this update function. It's a per unit update function. That's gonna give us our updating. But here's the interesting thing. When we unit.update, we need to know how many clock cycles went by. So to figure out or like time cycles, you know, something about time. What we're gonna do is system millisecond time. This is the current time, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a field in the game content called last update time. That's gonna initialize to the starting of the program, just whatever the time is at the time the program starts. So if the current time minus the last update time is greater than whatever our frames per second thing is. So let's make a constant FPS is 60 FPS, right? So you're going to do that. So then you're going to want to have another number that's going to be update timer, and that's going to be 1000 FPS. So this is like the milliseconds in an update, right? Number of milliseconds per update. So now, if we surpass that amount with delta time that's gone by, and of course delta time should be a variable, then what we're going to do is you're going to take that delta time and we're going to move the peon that amount. So for unit and units, unit.update, but see, update needs to know the delta time divided by the update millis, right? We'll just do that. And this means we're going to add this as cycles. This is the number of cycles of update. So this becomes the question of when we have a unit, how do we do orders, like issue order, right? So we need like issue point order. It tells the unit to go somewhere, and we need to take an order, and we need to take a point, right? So we're gonna have a point order. So for that, let's make a new order. Okay, a new class called order. What is the order? Didn't decide yet. But we'll set that to be his current order. Wait, cancel. Yeah, point. It's a point. Okay. Current order. So the unit's gonna have something called current order. And then while we're updating, if current order is non-null, and it might be null, but if it's non-null, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna tell the unit to do the current order. So let's order.update. Order.update. We'll make a method. And we'll give it this. Cool. So we'll make this method in order. So this is where you have another question of what is an order. Well, an order is an interface because it's definitely not a class. That would be ridiculous. So this is an order. So what does that mean? That means that we can make a move order. It's a kind of order. It's an order, right? Because we just defined what an order is. And what a move order is it's an order that, and let's give it the ability to be finished. So we'll have it return a flag there, whether it's done. If it's done, he'll go back to like stand order or something. By default, we return false, but we're going to return true when it's finished. Here's the thing: a move order needs a point target, right? So if you've got a move order, you're going towards something. That's your target. So that's our move order. So then what we're going to do is going to say well, we need to know the angle. So let's say target we got to do a tan 2, right? We got to do a tan 2. Basically target y minus unit will get y, and then target x minus unit get x. So we do that, and that's our a tan 2. That's our angle that the unit is moving at. Now what we do is unit. Now we need to have set x and set y on the unit. It's like either like special effects, set x, set y. That took Blizzard like a month. Alright, now we have set x and set y. Now I have unit set x to be, let's see, cosine of the angle times cycles times unit get unit type to get move speed. But unit speed, movement speed, is probably want to divide by 1,000. So we do that, and we'll do unit x, unit dot get x plus all of that, and we'll make sure it's an integer number because unit x is an integer in this game that I'm coding. And then we have unit set y, and we'll do just the very same thing with sine, right? So we just cosine sine. Everybody knows that. So we do that, and then if unit dot, or what is it? If target, the distance to the target of the unit x and unit y coordinate is less than or equal to some threshold of, I don't know, unit dot get, unit type, get movement speed, probably. If that happens to be the case, some threshold, I don't know if that threshold's big enough. There's probably no way that threshold's big enough. So our peons will probably, as you know, it's just, we're having fun. It's soothing world editor. The peons will be jiggling. They'll be jiggling a little bit when they get to their destination because I don't want to solve this yet. When that happens, we return true. And that just gives us the ability, right, that when a unit is updating, if update returns true, that means it's done. So if current order.update, current order equals null, but that probably won't happen. They'll probably just keep going. So I've got that, and now I can go back to the game content, and I can say when I right click, if current selection is non-null, if I have a unit selected, then current selection issue point order Actually, I don't even need to. It's not even issue point order. It's actually just issue order because I made a good order interface. See, there you go. See what I did there? All right. Let's see. Current selection, issue order, new move order to the target point, and the point is the click point. You get a point. So there's a bug. I put in this point here we don't need. Cool. So now you can issue a unit in order. So I think what that means is that if I click a peon and I say zug zug, he walks there. Now, like I said, he has this little jiggle. You know, peons got to know how to dance. But you know, I mean, it means I can order peons around and they'll go where I tell them. That's a little bit too much dancing. So I think we're gonna have to fix that one. So as you can see here, the problem with move order is that we're not computing target distance until the end. So we need to know the distance we're going. So this is like X travel, and this is a Y travel, right? It's like our delta that we're traveling. And so then what we're gonna say would be if X travel is greater than, and actually we need to, let's call this Y to target, and this is X to target, right? This will stop that jittering. So literally just if X travel is greater than X to target, then X travel equals X to target. And if Y travel is greater than Y to target, Y travel equals Y to target. Now if you're following why that would be, right, that just means that you would never move past your destination when I command a peon to walk somewhere. It's pretty good, but our peon movement speed is too high. So we can go into the game content where we have unit type peon with a 160 movement speed, and we can say, you know, maybe 160 is too fast. Maybe what we want is for the game to go a little bit slower. So actually for that, you know, maybe we'll leave it defined as 160, but in concept, with an update rate of 160 per like update cycle, what we probably want to do in unit type is just say that the movement speed is what you pass in divided by 10 or something, just in every single unit type. So as you can see here, my peon, he's moving a little bit more how we want, but still a little bit fast. And there's some weirdness, you know. Zug zug, I do it. Zug zug. The peon's going where I tell him mostly though. Yeah, let's slow him down even more. So to do that, we just go in unit, or we do the cycling, or one of these things. What is it? We go to move orders, right? Our move orders are cycling divided by 1,000. Let's divide by 10,000. Sure, why not? We'll just make them slow. So now they're not moving. So it's broken. This is clearly broken. And here's why, right? These should be an absolute value. So that's just if the absolute value of this is greater than the absolute value of that. It's just a way of thinking, you know. That'll fix them. Maybe not. I guess units can only move in positive directions, up and to the left. Okay. I'm kidding, that's the negative direction. I'm forgetting something. I'm really curious what it is, because my travel becomes the distance to target, and travel gets really big. Why is that? Let's slow the game down. Let's give it like, here's what you do. Sometimes you just gotta think. Let's give it like 4 frames per second. We can see the frames. We'll literally see the frames happening. This is not 4 frames per second. That's like infinity. Alright, so our frames are not working. Our update milliseconds would be the delta time. That's probably because I forgot to set last update time. That would probably do it. That would probably do it. There you go. Now we move at 4 frames per second. Perfect. Doesn't tell us why we can't go in positive directions though. Peon can only go in negative directions. So that's interesting, right? You can only go. It's got to be move order here, right? This move logic. So when the target has a larger value than the unit, so like target X is greater than the unit X, right? So target's over here and the unit's over here. Target X minus unit X is a positive value. Then X to target would be really big. And then I'm saying if X travel, which would be the cosine of the direction that we're going, times the number of cycles that we need to account for in that direction, times the unit move speed divided by a bajillion. If that value is of a larger magnitude than X to target, and we only travel the X to target amount. And somehow we're not moving. Well, in the worst case, there's one thing you can always do. You can always get rid of some peons, so you only have one, and then do some logging. Everybody likes some good logging debug, right? So we'll just log right here. X travel, and I always want to make sure you know what it is. And then Y travel, and then we probably also want X and Y to target. So looks like our X travel and Y travel are very, very tiny, and X to target and Y to target are very, very large. So then what becomes of X travel 2 after we modify it? Does it become 0? I'd like to know why. Or does it just remain a very tiny value? Wait, I didn't log version 2? Let's run that again. Oh, okay, they're just too small of values. Well, that's interesting then that a negative value would not be too small, but a positive value would be too small. That's clearly bugged. What do I do with this distance? Let's just say distance less than or equal to 0. Well, we're still moving, right? I mean, he doesn't think he's reached his destination. But if I right click to the up and left, he starts getting these negative values that are still large negative values, but they don't. Oh, it's because of integer truncation. Oh, yeah. Okay, so when I take him to an integer, right, and I take X travel and I take it to an integer, that makes sense. Here's how you fix that, guys. Here's how you fix that. Unit X and Y should be floating point. Problem solved entirely. I should have done that to begin with. Boom. Unit X and Y are floating point, and then we'll just cast them back to integers as we draw them, because the screen is in integers, but screen pixels, right? That makes total sense. But of course, if you store your units in floating point, you just have a way better life. You really do. So let's just do that. There's probably one or two other things we gotta fix once we do that. Sure, everything's floating point. This guy needs to get casted back to an integer. That's fine, that makes sense. Nothing we didn't expect here. And now I got a peon. Zug zug. Zug zug, folks. I do it. But now the game moves at a slow, tiny FPS rate. So let's set it back to a big rate. So he goes fast. Very fast. Still not. Oh, he still only goes in the negative direction. We're still doing some integer rounding somewhere. Okay. Where are we doing that? We were doing that right here. This integer rounding right here. That would do it. Zug zug. Well, now we don't need to divide by a jillion anymore. Let's put it back. He's just too slow. Let's put back our original numbers before I divided this guy by 10 too. That'll do it. And now I can tell my unit to move. See, there you go. And now he just goes where I'm telling him. I mean, he knows what's up. The other thing is that a peon is a little bit big right now. So I think what we need to do is we need to take the scaling value of 1.0. Let's give him a scaling value of 0.2, right? I mean, he needs a little tiny scaling value, so that way. Get this little peon. He just looks better that way. He's just more peon sized. That's pretty good. Let's put back the other peons too. Now I can click the peons and tell them to go meet up as friends. Oh, that's so fun. Come on, little peons. Be friends. Go over there. Oh, we need the crosshairs when you right click. Okay, let's define a special effect. Special effect is going to be a lot like a unit. It's going to have update and render. Cool. The other thing is the special effect does not have a current action. It's going to have its own image. Well, actually, no, it's not going to have an image. I take that back. Yeah, that'll be a special effect right there. So go in the game, we're going to have game content, we're going to have a list of special effects, just like we have a list of units. Right, those are your special effects. We'll put them in there with the units. Effects. It's the list of effects. Let's see, special effects. So we have a list of special effects. And we're going to do, after we render all the units, let's do for special effect, effect in effects, effect render. Yeah, we'll do that. So we have all the special effects, we have all the units, and we'll update the special effects when we're updating the units, just so they have the ability to update with the number of cycles. Now, here's the interesting other thing about the special effects, right? We need a way for them to be destroyed over time. So I think what I'm going to do for that is say that a special effect can, or let's not be so dumb here. Actually, I was trying to be complicated. We don't need to be complicated. Let's put a is done. It's a flag that tells us if the special effect is done playing. And what that means is we can go in the game content and we can say if effect is done, then we'll remove it. But here's the problem. We need to have an iterator so we can remove them. So effects iterator, effect iterator, and then we can say while effect iterator has next, effect iterator next. That gets us the effect. We copy in our code to this other system, and then if effect is done, effect iterator remove. That gets rid of the effect. So now what that means is a special effect, and this is where I'm thinking we're going to have a movement command indicator. It's a special effect of when you right click somewhere, you get a little green arrow thingy that shrinks. You know, like these arrows that point inward to it. Except those look bad. Actually, maybe they don't look bad. Let's put them back. So it's little arrows. Everybody knows little arrows. They point into where you right clicked, you know, and it tells you like that is in fact where you right clicked. So this is our arrows. We made them in MS Paint. This is arrows PNG. So I have my arrows, and this is my movement effect indicator, which is going to be a special effect. Now, frankly, I have this peon art thing, right? But this should be like methodized or something. For now, I'm just going to make something called sprites, so I can say sprites.peonart, because that's just logical, right? So over here I can say sprites.peonart. Boom, and I got the peon art. What are you upset about? It's not visible. Well, let's make it visible. It's the peon art. Everyone should be able to see it. Alright, so that's the peon art. And then I'm also going to make move indicator art. Okay, so now we got that too. We're going to load that in the same way as the peon indicator, but we're going to load move indicator arrows. It's called arrows PNG. I'm going to make that called the loaded image. So we're going to load the move indicator, so now I can use it externally. So that means that this guy, when he renders himself, is going to be based on that. This is going to have a thing called time. So time is going to be a number of cycles that the indicator lasts. So every time we render, we're going to do graphics draw image, and we're going to draw sprites.move indicator art, right? And what we're just going to do is we're going to draw move indicator needs a point that is where the indicator is on the screen. So that's the point. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say point.x, point.y, and give it the null rendering thingy. Cool, so we do that, but of course we need to actually subtract move indicator art. So let's actually, we could even, yeah, let's do that. Alright, move indicator art, width of image over 2, height of image over 2, so it's centered. So you get this, it's centered, and it's gonna be based on the time remaining what its size is. So we do that. Time is going to be an integer in this case. Cool. So when we update, what we're going to do is we're just going to say time minus equals cycles. If time less than 0, then time equals 0. And is done is going to return time less than or equals 0. So we have that. That's our movement command indicator. And we can put that in the game that when you right click and issue order, you can say effects.add new movement command indicator of was it 2 seconds? 2 seconds is like 120 for 60 frames per second, 120 ticks. And the point is again e-getPoint. Now notably e.getPoint allocates location, so we're going to just allocate one of them at the top. Alright, cool. So now I'm going to have that, so I should be able to just see, okay, that's pretty good. I made an obvious mistake. It's very simple to fix. These are actually not going to be sized by the indicator height and width. They're going to be sized by time. So we'll just put time over 2 in there. It's very simple, very easy to fix. Of course, it needs to be the integer casted time. I don't know why I made time a long. That's ridiculous. It should be an integer. This is because of cycles. So that's our right click guy. When I right click, we see one of those. But of course, it's a little bit too big. So this is going to be scale, and scale is not equal to time. Scale is going to be equal to time over 10. So it's going to be tiny. There we go. Boom. But now it's like too tiny. So we'll just make it like time over 4. I don't know, something like that. Now you can see the arrow that he's told to move there. Or do it. Zog zog. Or do it. And I can tell my peons to walk around. And if I tell them all to walk to the same place, they'll come over and stand next to each other. I mean, just look at that. Isn't that brilliant? I think that is genius. I coded Warcraft, guys. Look at that. Everything you need, I got right here. There's some little peons to just walk around and talk to each other. That's some real soothing world editor if ever there was one. You just get your peons and you have them go talk to each other. I don't know if this was like an hour or what. I hope it was less than an hour. But really, this is. I just think you do this for like 2 days. You code your own Warcraft, like the whole game. And you can have your little peons. I do it. Zog zog. Here you go. I hope you guys have a good night. And remember to stay awesome.